Jeffrey Julmis.
Yes.
It is a pleasure to be right here sitting in front of you. You are right now training for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo.
Yes.
So I just want to start with, like, at what age did you actually start running track?
I officially started running at the age of 13, and I say officially because I used to race in the streets, so I consider that running as well. And I probably started that when I was like 5, 6 years old, but officially at the age of 13 in middle school.
And that was in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes,
Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
at Sunrise Middle School.
Okay, Sunrise Middle School. And so, what intrigued you? Just running around in the neighborhood, or?
I've always thought I was the fastest kid, either in my family, on the block that I lived on, the fastest kid in the neighborhood. So I've always had a passion to run. I just never knew that track and field would be the outlet of me running until I got to middle school.
Okay, and so when you started in middle school, were you sprinting, or were you just doing 200s, or were you doing relays, or?
Well, actually, the way I started, because I actually wasn't running, but I was very athletic as a young buck, and I was turning flips in the field. And the track coach actually saw me running, and I used to think, the faster you run, the higher your flips can be. So she saw me running down the field, trying to do a backflip with no hands, and which is a back handspring or a back tuck, whichever it was. And she asked me, hey, have you ever ran before? And I was like, no, I've always wanted to. And she was like, all right, well, you should come out next week and let's see what you have. So the minute that I got out there, I knew that I would be a sprinter, but she was like, we want to try you in something called the hurdles. And I was like, all right, that's fine, we can try it. And from day one, I fell in love, and there she wrote. I was a hurdler from then on.
And so as a hurdler, you then progressed to Fort Lauderdale High.
Yes.
You got some successes there. And so what was your journey like at Fort Lauderdale High, coming from middle school to high school?
The journey was a trying one. I only ran 1 year middle school track and 1 year high school track. I only ran 1 year high school track because I wasn't the best student athlete there was. I kind of put athletics before I put the student, so I didn't have grades up until my senior year. So it was a lot of trials and tribulations before I can actually step onto the track, but once I did, I had success. The only track meet that I ever lost was at the state championship, which I got second place. And then from there, I went to junior college in Kansas.
And South Florida is known to produce some fast runners.
Oh, yes.
So what's so different about the training in South Florida?
One, we train year round. It's hot all year as opposed to states that have to deal with winter.
Yeah.
So I can be on the track from September all the way to next September. So you get the atmosphere because it's hot, it's humid. Track meets are hot and humid. Mm-hmm. So one, we can train year round. One, you get acclimated to being outside and being in the environment that what you're gonna run in. So that's pretty much it. The environment and the year-round training.
Okay. And so Kansas State, like, you got a little bit excited when you said that. Like, what are some good memories you have there?
All my great memories are from Kansas State. I actually went to junior college beforehand.
Okay.
So it was culture shock, complete culture shock, because I come from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The population is 3 million, I think. And then I'll end up going to a city with 1,000 people. So that was complete culture shock. So it was kind of like, I didn't have a city, I didn't have anything but to focus on grades and track. So transitioning from that to a Division I program was kind of like going from, well, you would know, going from like Lauderhill Mall to the Broward Mall. It's just totally different. The environment is different. There's a lot more resources as far as athletics. There's a lot more resources for academics as well. But my best memories will probably be the excitement of coming back from a track meet and you won, or getting the Big 12 champion, or going to nationals and coming back and getting the love from the fans and the people in the city.
Now, did you keep your uniform?
Yes, I did. Yes, I got to keep it all. It was a struggle because they didn't want to give it to you, but because, well, a lot of times you have to give it back and then they give it to you the next year, but I never wanted to get mine back. And Coach kind of knew, coming from another city, not being from Kansas, he was like, all right, we're just going to have to give Jeff what he wants, and I usually get what I want. But I got to keep my uniform, and I have it stowed away somewhere, ready to put up in a plaque when that time comes.
Okay. Now, what are you doing specifically to get you ready for 2020 Olympics in Tokyo? Because you've already been in 2012,
Yes.
2016.
Yes.
And so, what was that like back then, and what do you think you have looking forward to?
So 2012 and 2016 were both, they were different in terms of, I had two different coaches. In 2012, I had my college coach. In 2016, I had my professional coach, which I'm still with right now. The very first Olympic Games, first time jitters, I was there. I was more concerned about making it than I was actually going there and performing. So my performance showed that I didn't make it out of the preliminary rounds. And then in 2016, I was more experienced. I had been to world championships. I had been to different meets. So it was more I was mentally ready. But then again, I fell in the semifinal rounds at the first hurdle. So I didn't get to go in the finals.
Now, but you still qualified.
Yes, I qualified.
To make it that far. So
Yes.
how did you qualify? Because, there are people who are running track in high school.
Yes.
For those that don't know, but how did you qualify?
So there's something called the Olympic A standard. Most countries don't deal with it because they have the numbers. Me being from Haiti, it's a very small country. We don't have many runners. So for me, all I had to do was achieve the A standard. Whereas being in America, you have to have the A standard, then you have to go to the USA trials and get top 3 in order to make the team.
Wow.
But for me, I just had to run the A standard, which is still hard. But the first time I qualified, I knew I qualified, but I didn't know anything about getting on the Haitian national team, and it was always a dream. But luckily, the coach that I had told you about earlier, Coach Love, he actually knew the Haitian national coach, and they had already been talking about, in secret, without me knowing, if I ever qualified, getting me on the team. So Coach Love called me. I qualified on a Monday. That Wednesday, he called me and was like, hey, I know the Haitian national coach, and she wants you to run for Haiti. What are your thoughts? And I was like, what? Yes, that's what I've been looking for. That's what I've been dreaming for. So once I made that team come 2016, it's the same thing. I just had to run the Olympic A standard, which I did. And again, going to 2016, made it out of the preliminary rounds, got to semifinals, and if I didn't fall at the first hurdle, I definitely would have been in the final. But 2020 Tokyo will be the time that I make the final and get a medal.
But that fall was also like a game changer.
Yes.
Because, it set the tone for what we have to look forward to in 2020.
Yes.
But how did you bounce back from that? Because that was the whole world,
Yes.
Looking at you. And you even had a celebrity like Ludacris
Yeah.
make some, comments out in the open, and it was, I know you didn't expect that. So how did you handle that?
I would think to thank me growing up in Fort Lauderdale for that. We went to high school together.
Yeah.
Cracking jokes, being the center of attention at all times. I was kind of used to it already. So when the fall happened and the jokes came, it was like, whatever, those will roll off my back. I'm not worried about that. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it didn't affect me, but more positive stuff came out of it than negative. Yeah, you had the guys making memes and creating all the funny stuff, but there were more people actually reaching out to me and telling me how much I motivated them to move on in their endeavors in life. So those stories kind of helped me say, all right, you got to get up, you got to train again, let's go to 2020 and reverse what happened in 2016.
And so, now, what are you doing to, prepare yourself mentally, making sure you don't fall, again, or?
Yeah. Well, one thing about my career is I've never really been fully healthy, from high school to college into professionalism.
And why is that?
High school was probably because I was on a step team, which I probably shouldn't have done. That was taking a lot out of my knees. Had to have surgery. I had surgery in high school, had surgery in college, never had surgery in the professional world, but always had little hamstring problems or ankle problems or anything, all the nicks and knacks. So
Yeah.
the base this year was to get structurally prepared, structural from the ground up. So this year we're starting off from my feet all the way up as far as strength. We're going to strengthen my ankles, we're going to strengthen my calves, we're going to strengthen the hips, all the things that's important and conducive to you running a fast hurdle race. That process has already started. I've been rehabbing my ankles a lot. Because you roll your ankles so many times being a hurdler, I mean, just running track, period. So once we get me structurally prepared, then we can work on my fitness. And the fitness is important because, like I said earlier, I'm going over 10 barriers. So I have to maintain the same speed from hurdle 1 all the way to hurdle 10. So once I'm fit, then we can worry about speed. Then once we finish speed, we can worry about technique and so on and so forth. But the main thing really is getting structurally prepared, and I'm doing that right now.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like you are.
Yes.
You look like you are.
Thank you.
And so I want to find out, what are you doing in your spare time? Because I heard that you're a coach at Cardinal Gibbons.
Yes. I coach at Cardinal Gibbons, like you just said. It's kind of my downtime outside of reading, but for me, it makes me a better athlete because I get the best of both worlds. I get to see what my coach has to deal with when he's dealing with us and telling us, you know, hey, I need you guys to do this in a workout, or hey, I need you guys to do that. So now when I'm giving it to my athletes, I have a better understanding. So when coach is talking to me, I know, all right, this is what's expected, this is what I have to go and do. But outside of the coaching, just reading and watching Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix and chilling.
Well, I know it's always good to be back home in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
And so I know it's a hurricane that's possibly coming tomorrow, but I think we're good.
2020 will definitely be, for me, it's going to be my redemption, which I've fought through adversity my whole life. So I'm planning to, 1, make myself feel better, but 2, show a country, not just my city, but a whole country, that even when you go through trials and tribulations, you can get back up and you can come back stronger. IATKEM, all my Lauderdale fam was popping. I am Jeffrey Julmis, and you're watching Off the Field.